It's been a long time since Nebraska football contended in any conference, and certainly been 6 or 7 years since they've gone to a bowl game. They haven't won a big game in a long time. This could be in that category if they could pull one off against a Colorado team that they have lost to 3 consecutive times, including last year in Boulder. Deion's coming to town. Dylan Raiola is the new quarterback in Nebraska. They are fired up for this one in Lincoln. We got Steve Merrill here breaking down everything across the board in college football. So check out the other team channels and the segments we've provided there. You can catch Steve every day at wagertalk.com with the NFL and Major League Baseball, in addition to college football. And Steve, this is an intriguing matchup because Colorado, of course, beat Nebraska easily last year. The Huskers have the new quarterback in place, Matt Rule's second year. There's a lot of optimism. And of course, they won their first game against UTEP by 33 as a roughly touchdown favorite. It's come down to 6.5 here with Deion Sanders in town.
Yeah, Nebraska had a tough loss against Minnesota last year to open up, a very misleading loss, I thought, in week one. And then they went into Colorado, got blown out by 22. But to Rule's credit, he got the troops focused after that. They won 5 of their next 6 games in his first season and then dropped the final 4, didn't cover any of those down the stretch. But what's interesting about those final 4 games last year is they actually out-yarded both Wisconsin and Iowa the final 2 games of the season. So they were still playing decent football, just couldn't get out of their own way. In fact, over those final 4 games of the season last year, 12 turnovers to 4. That was really the difference. So they need to take better care of the ball. And I think for that reason, they will focus on the run game. They should have plenty of success running here against a very suspect Colorado defense. Now, Colorado's defense might be improved this year, but it's hard to imagine they're going to be good because they were horrendous last year, especially against the run. It's interesting. Colorado only outgained statistically 2 of their opponents all year, and one of them actually was this Nebraska game in week 2. We know how overrated they became after the hot start, especially from a point spread perspective. But I still think there's a lot of public backing to Colorado. And even though this line might look big on the surface, as you mentioned, Mark, Nebraska's lost 3 in a row to Colorado, and they're almost a touchdown favorite. It's actually not high enough. I do a 10,000 game simulation for every game on the board. And in this one, on average, I've got Nebraska winning by over 12.5 points per average result out of 10,000 simulations. So I think we're getting almost a touchdown of line value. I like the matchup. I like the revenge spot. We'll take the better team at home with a discounted price, Nebraska minus the 6.5.
It's Colorado finesse against Nebraska muscle in Lincoln. You get Steve Merrill's complete look at college football, the NFL, and Major League Baseball at wagertalk.com. Steve's under the radar selection is an exclusive for us here at the Voice of College Football, and we appreciate Steve doing that again this season. He nailed the first one in week 1, Pitt minus 24 against Kent State. He will have another one ready for you on a 22-5 run. Check it out right now. College football is even more exciting with some action on the line. And the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Let's start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread. I've got a 40-year track record. In fact, in 2023, at $100 played per game, you would have netted over $9,300. And guess what? I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill, our ace in the hole, show stopper from Wager Talk. 6 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick, which went 21-5 against the spread the last 2 seasons. I repeat, 21-5 against the spread. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Steve Dace and Matt Zemek. Become a YouTube channel member or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2024 a winner now.